How to become a data scientist. A lot of YouTubers have made a video about this. Everyone has a roadmap to say this is the right way to become a data scientist, and it keeps on changing. Data science roadmap for 2022, 2023, 2024. But the video remains the same. I'm pretty sure you have taken all the courses that they've mentioned, but did it get you a job? Did you become a data scientist? A big question mark, right? That's not your fault. If you go to any data science job role and you see, even for an entry level job role, they say you need 2+ or 3+ years of experience. How is that even possible to get 2+ or 3+ of years of experience even for an entry level role if they're not gonna take a bet on someone who just has the right skills? That's what we are gonna break down in this video. So a quick intro about me. Myself, I'm Hari. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I came to US to do my master's in data science, and I got my first job as a data scientist without having any formal experience. If that's the case, how did I build my profile to get that first job? If you want to know more about this, click the link in the description to buy my course. I think I got you. I was just kidding. We're gonna cover the entire thing in this video. Well, it's not true. I'm gonna make a series of 4 videos, and I'm gonna talk about 4 important things that you have to do. Basically, you can call it as a roadmap, but not to learn data science. I'm pretty sure you already have the essential skills in data science, but we're going to talk about 4 important things on how you can build a robust profile to get your first data science job. So we are going to go from the least effective but the simpler way to the most effective and the difficult way. And we're going to talk about everything in the next few weeks. For this video, we're going to talk about the first important thing, projects. So without any delay, let's get started. Wait a minute. You might be wondering what projects. You might be thinking that I already have a lot of projects on my profile. Still, I'm not getting a call back. Well, you are not alone. Even I used to think that way. What if I say the projects that you have done are not going to be useful for you to get a job? Don't worry if it's confusing. Let's break it down in this video. So I'm going to split this video into 2 sections. In the first section, I'm going to talk about how you can build a robust data analytics project for your profile. And in the second part of the video, we're going to talk about how you can tackle any data science or machine learning project. And we're also going to talk about how you can leverage AI to make your project lifecycle more easier. Let's start with the first section. How to do a robust data analytics project. Let's start simple. Let's keep the complicated stuff for the second part. But for this section, let's keep it simple. I'll just go to Kaggle. I'll just randomly scroll through the data sets available, the projects that other people have worked on, and I'll try to search for the interesting data set that I could find. I'll use some keywords. If you have any domain preference like marketing, finance, sales, healthcare, etc., you can use those keywords and go to Kaggle website and search for whatever you like. I like how businesses work, and I like to know how this startup ecosystem is. So when I was randomly scrolling through Kaggle, I found out there is a dataset called Forbes Billionaires, and this dataset has a lot of aspects about the billionaires in the world. So you can take a look at this data, right? You can see a lot of features over here like resident citizenship, their relationship status, the education, the number of children that each billionaire has, whether they are self-made or not. So I find this dataset interesting. So the step 1 is done. I found the right dataset for myself. So this is the most easiest and it might be the difficult part, because getting the right dataset for you is not a very straightforward task, right? Step number 2. Once the step number 1, the dataset collection part is done, step number 2 is let's consider this project as a real corporate data analytics project. Business or stakeholder is coming to you and they're giving this dataset. They said, we have this data and we need to get some insights out of it. So you'll start asking questions to them, right? So the second step is ask questions. So you're taking a look at the data, you understand what kind of columns are there, and you're gonna use your skills to get answers for those questions. So step number 2 is come up with some random questions. So whenever you're coming up with some questions, don't bother whether it's gonna be difficult or easy for you to find an answer for the question. Doesn't matter. The core task over here is just come up with questions. It doesn't matter whether it's so complicated. It doesn't matter if it's very straightforward. I'm gonna do the same with this dataset. I'm just gonna come up with 10 most critical questions that I think this dataset could answer. So the first question that I'm gonna come up with is which industry sector has most number of billionaires? Because I saw the column where it has mentioned the industries of the billionaires where they work. So I think this might be interesting to see which industry might have the most number of billionaires. The second question that I wanna get answer for is does a college degree required to become a billionaire? We can see a lot of people, right? Mark Zuckerberg is a college dropout. And we see a lot other people who says that they are college dropout, and people have a perception that a college degree is not really required to become a billionaire, right? So I want to get the answer for this question as well. And the third question is where to study to become a billionaire. So stereotype or perception that if you get into a good university, you're gonna become a successful person in life, right? So I have this question as well. Did billionaires graduate from top universities that made them billionaires? Let's take a look at it after analyzing the data. So I'm gonna just come up with 10 questions like this. It can be very random, as I said, and you don't have to come up with these questions in one go. You can just take a data set and fix that this is gonna be your data set. And you can keep on thinking what kind of questions you can ask. When you're sleeping, when you're taking a bath, when you're going for a run, you can think about a data set and come up with 10 critical questions that you want to answer from this data set. So once that is done, the step number 3 is basically do your analysis. So this is where you're going to put your skills into action. You have watched a lot of videos on Tableau, Power BI, Python, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. Use whatever tools or technologies that you know and go through each of these questions that you came up with and try to answer those questions by analyzing the data that you have. So over here, I'm just gonna open a notebook and I'm just gonna read the data set that we have, and if any cleaning is required for the data, do that. And after that's done, I'm just gonna get answers for all these questions. So I'm not gonna get into the technical details of how to analyze the data. I'm assuming you already have the skills of these to do that. If not, if you're very new here and if you don't even have the skills or technologies that are required to perform this analysis, check out my first video to understand or go through the roadmap of what kind of skills are required to perform an analysis like this. So you might be wondering, so data set collection part is done, cleaning part is done, even the analysis part is done, which means the project is done, right? So you can ask me, Hari, can I just add it on my resume? Not yet. The step 4 is the important part. This is what we are going to do to stand out from others. Step 4 is nothing but data analyst is not someone who just analyzes data, right? A data analyst is someone who's good at storytelling. So data analyst is someone who gets the insights out of the data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open Medium and I'm going to write a detailed blog, not for the technical users, but for the non-technical users to understand what this data is about and what kind of insights that I got out of the data. I'm not going to mention whether I use group by, value counts, or any technical jargon for them. After analyzing the data for these 10 questions, these are the answers or charts that I got. And I'm going to add my opinion on top of the answers that I got, which is basically the insights of the data analyst roadmap, right? So you can use any blog site or you can even use LinkedIn to write your blog. It's your choice. You can create a Medium account for free and you can write a blog about your insights, and you can also take this blog and do a snapshot of it and put it on LinkedIn and tell your existing connections that I've done work like this. So that's it, right? So we have done the end-to-end process of the data analytics project roadmap. And you might be wondering, what is the use of doing this entire thing? Can't I just go analyze the data and just put it on my resume? Trust me, if you do this, you have a lot to talk about during your interview. If you have that on your profile, maybe before the interview, the hiring manager might have gone through the blog that you've written before coming to the interview. You answered 10 questions, right? He might have 2 more questions to add. Gonna become a conversation between 2 data enthusiasts, right? There you have it. This is how I would tackle a data analytics project. Make sure to follow all these steps and add it on your resume. Let's get into the section 2 of our video. What I would do if I have to do a data science or machine learning project, because the paths that you have to follow for this machine learning project is not going to be similar to the data analytics one, right? We have actually talked about this before in a separate video. Feel free to check out that video once you're done with this. But in this video, we are going to talk about the step-by-step procedure, how I would get an idea first and how I would get the data for that particular idea and how I would do the project. And you know what's the best part? In this AI era, it is very easier to get the idea. Let me cut my lengthy talks. Let's see it in action. It's so simple. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to type in, "You're an experienced data scientist who's going to help me create a non-cliche project for my profile." Because that's the goal, right? You're not going to do a popular project which is available on the internet. Why not? Let's say you're doing a Titanic dataset project or a cats and dogs prediction or stock price prediction. It's not going to add any value to your profile. It might help you to get the right skills to do the project. But if the hiring manager is seeing a project like that on their resume, there is high chance that they might have seen thousands of projects like that on multiple resumes before. Obviously, he's not going to be impressed by the fact that you have added a particular project like that on your resume. So let's stick with non-cliche projects. You can do a popular project, but I would say don't add it on your resume. You can do it for your own good, learn the skills. But once you're done with that, come here, do this. How can I get a non-cliche idea? So let's do this. A stock price prediction is a very cliche project, very popular project that I've seen on internet. Let's say I like the project about stock price prediction. I want to build a similar project like that. And I'm going to ask, give me 5 non-cliche or non-popular project examples similar to stock price prediction. You might have some bias towards some domains, right? You can go for healthcare, marketing, sales, finance, and I'm also going to enter in the marketing field. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to be more creative with your examples, and I'm also going to ask, tell me how I can find data for those projects. And ChatGPT gave me like 5 amazing projects that I could work on in the marketing field, which are similar to the stock price prediction. You can keep on iterating the step if you don't like the projects. But I see a project which is influencer marketing impact on fashion stocks. That sounds interesting. It's giving me an idea how I could get the data for these projects, but it's not actually giving me the data source or the right source where I can get the data, right? So that's where we're going to go to the step 2. But for the step 1, now you got an amazing non-popular project idea. Even if you search influencer marketing impact on fashion stocks, you're not going to get a video for that. You're not going to get a blog, which means it's so popular and unique. And also the project idea that it gave it's on high level, right? You can develop on the project, you can tweak this project, you can add something on top of this project, you can do whatever you want. So what next? What is the step 2? To get the data set for this, right? That is the difficult task over here. So that's why we are going to use another AI tool called Perplexity. I think a lot of people would have known about this. If you are hearing this for the first time, Perplexity is an AI tool. Basically, it still uses ChatGPT in the backend, but it is more helpful to do some research stuff to get the sources for the data. So let me show you how it works. Let me go to the Perplexity website, and I'm just going to be simple. And I like the influencer marketing project. I'm just going to type the 3 words, influencer marketing dataset. And you can see it has listed all the sources that it could find. And even the first source is from Kaggle, right? It made it so simple. And I can see a data set about online influencer marketing. And you can also give more prompts to it and ask more questions and get different data sets that you want, if you want. That's how I would get an idea for a project and a data set for the project. But if you ask me, but that would make the project more difficult, right? Not true. You're not going to reinvent the project. You're still going to follow the steps that you would follow for a popular project. Let's take cats and dogs classification. You're still going to follow the same steps that you would follow if you have to do the project, but the entire idea is different. That's it. The methodologies that you're going to use is still going to be the same. The skill sets required are still going to be the same. Even most of the code that you might use for the project is still going to be the same. But the idea is different. The project outcome is different. And as I said before, this is going to help you a lot because now you have a story to talk about during your interview. I hope this video was helpful to come up with new project ideas and on how to do some non-cliche projects. And I hope this might be helpful for you to build a very robust profile for you to get your first data science job. So whenever you do a project like this, make sure to post about it on LinkedIn and also make sure to tag me on that post. I'll share it with my network as well if I find the project interesting. But wait, just doing projects, is it enough for you to have the robust profile for you to get a job, or are there something else that you could do? As I said, this is just the first video in the series, and we're going to talk about the next 3 videos about how to build a robust profile, which will get you the data science job. And the next video is particularly for someone who's in college, either doing bachelor's or master's. And we're going to dedicate the entire video on how to build your profile when you are in your college and what kind of things you could do, which will give you the upper hand to build a robust profile to get you the job. If you're watching this video after a week, other video might be out, and I'll add that video in the description. And all the prompts and the code that I've used in this video will be in the description as well. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you there.